It's 4 o'clock, you're ready.
It is 4 o'clock, and we're going to open the meeting at this time. Long y'all will stand with the pledge of allegiance. Face the flag. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas pledge will be next.
I pledge the flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We're going to start off the meeting with someone from council, Lady Kelly Waters, and introduce the city manager. I'll have a few words to say on some of the updates.
Thank you all for being here this afternoon. We have a new city manager. His name is Stacy Williams. I'd like to meet him and introduce yourself to him if you get a chance. Thank you, Phil.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I've worked with, I think, 3 or 4 different city managers since I've been here. Stacy's a straight guy. He can come and sit down with you, talk to you about the situation. He's got a huge background. He comes from the city of Omaha, the maintenance division, so he understands all our needs and all our problems. So there's a lot of problems that we're trying to work through. But I'll say this, the first day he was on the job, he was out at the airport assessing the situations and the things that need to be done. So he's been available every time that I've ever needed anything. So he's a good guy. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm going to open the meeting to public comments at this time. We have one public comment from, I guess it's Chris Bahan.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to make a statement this time? 3-minute statement.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Christopher Bahan. I've been an aircraft mechanic at the Cleveland Airport for 11 years since 2009. I wanted to take a moment to describe, tell my side of the story of an incident that occurred between Johnny Whitson and I some time ago. Mr. Whitson had come by my hair and asked that I help with an aircraft in his hangar. After multiple requests, he became angry and upset that I wasn't a team player. He put his golf cart in reverse and backed up and over my 15-year-old dog and stayed there. I began screaming at him for him to move his cart off my dog. He continued to be extremely angry and upset at me, at which he still refused to move off my dog. In desperation to get him to move, I threw an object at him, after which he did move off my dog and drove away. After the incident, he did not call law enforcement in order to keep the peace, as the police later told me. Clay Dean took it upon himself to call the police and personally escort them to me several hours later in an attempt to get me arrested. Mr. Whitson did not press charges on me in an effort to keep the police, and when the police asked if I wanted to press charges for him driving over my dog, I declined. Clay Dean, on multiple occasions, has called the police on me in an effort to get me removed and arrested. In 2019, he made an attempt to evict me from the airport. The eviction was ultimately overturned by the city, and I was given a second larger 50-by-50 hangar. On May 12, 2019, 3:24 p.m., he texted me that I was prohibited from the airport in my hangar or I'll be arrested. In fact, it is illegal to trespass anybody from a public space. Later I learned. That same year, Darlene Dean emailed ForeFlight, a Boeing company, to tell them that I was no longer in business and to remove me from the national database. They in turn called me to verify. Clay Dean has a long history of permanently trying to remove me from the airport. I do regret what happened between Mr. Whitson and I, since some time ago we were friends once upon a time. Thank you.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the next item, consideration of possible action on the minutes of the May 25th meeting, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? So moved. Second. All those in favor? All those in favor? Yes, at this time, I will move to that. This time, I'd like to introduce all board members, starting with Mr. Dan on the podium. You just speak your name and board member.
Ronnie Danner. Frank Connolly. I'm Danny Sullivan. I want to thank Stacy for joining us today and joining to help get us up to speed here at the city. Stacy and I go back a ways, and I think we even graduated together a number of years ago, back when we rode horses to school. And, glad to see you, glad you're here, and thanks for everything that you do. We really appreciate it.
Board member.
Clay Dean, board member, FBO manager.
Chairman Porter, city council member, and board member.
Mike McLennan, board.
Thank you all for your introduction. We appreciate that very much. That being the case, we'll move forward to item number 2. Consider the possible action and approval of the minutes of the May 25th meeting, 2021. Once again, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved 100%. Next item, number 3, considerable action possible for the issue at Allen County at 603. Do you have any statements or comments on that?
Motion to table it. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is passed unanimously to table the action. Item number 3. Item number 4, consider and possible action on the new hangar for the wall units. May not talk about that a number of times. There is some advantages to probably doing it this way. You just need to get it out and let you folks pass your blessing on it. Clay can probably tell them exactly what we wanted to do in very simple terms.
Yeah, so as everybody knows, the airport is double. We got 50 hangars out there, and we started there with 30. I would say the last 10 hangars that we put in was a home run for the city at 0 cost. And the gentleman that put the money up is getting paid off the rent from there, so the city's not using any of its funds to pay for that. Tenants are paying tax on that. So it's a home run for the city. The next thing, and if you look, we're pretty much uniform on the way that we're building the airport out, so it looks like a clean, neat, uniform. You can the airports where they got every kind of different building out there. So we've just kind of tried to stay with the format that makes the airport look clean and neat. We built a set of hangars. The estimated cost about 5 years ago, $750,000. Okay, half of that cost is the ramp that goes around that, and then another considerable amount of that cost, like 20-30% of that, is the concrete that's under. So we have 3 existing buildings now that are housing like 6 hangars to the deal. So the ideal is, and this is just an ideal, I don't know where it's going to go or anything, but in the future to cut costs where we're at. We still have 60-something people on the list that's wanting hangars. Some of you guys, I don't know if they're all here, but some of you guys are already wanting another hangar for another airplane out there. So the ideal is to remove one hangar at a time. We have ramp, we have concrete, okay? And then add on the ends of those concrete out to the ditch and then out to the other ditch. And then move those tenants out of those into the new one. Not only those 3 or 4 tenants that's in there, but the other 4 or 5 that's in the other one. Do the next one, just to cut costs. We think that we can pick up 12 hangars for a third of the cost it takes to build one. So that's kind of where that's kind of where we're thinking about budget-wise. You know, the city of Cleveland, how many people? Citizens.
8,000
They have
population.
a population of like 80,000 people serving 150,000. So, you know, there's not, they're limited on what they can do, so we've got to be creative when we start doing this. Let me say this, that since I've been there, the city of Cleveland has not taken one red cent of federal money and built any hangars. The city council has been good enough to put the bucket bonds. Every money that the city has built, has spent, has been for infrastructure. And everybody knows that we need more infrastructure. We're way behind on getting things done that we need to get done. We're making progress. We've made progress over the last 9 years. So we're trying to do that. So that's one of the things that we can do. We're running out of land. I had a meeting with the EDC representative here not too long ago, and the property that's running from Johnny's place back to that way. You know, we're going to try to see if we can get something worked out so we can hang it. We're going to run out of space. So in the not too distant future, if we do the same thing that we did in the last 9 years, in the next 9 years, we'll be in the 15 years. This is generating a huge amount of money for the city. Okay? And to give you kind of an idea about where we're at, on March 4th, FlightAware, Chris gave this to me. On March 4th, FlightAware put out a survey that the airport traffic increased 1,183% over the same 2-week period in 2020. 1,183%. You know, I used to come out there and land on the taxiway all the time. There was nobody around. You know, we would be there for 4 or 5 days in winter time there at CSO. Now there's people there every day. November the 23rd, in 2019, it increased 1,080%. So you can see it's increased another, 103% from the time over a 2-year period. So the airport's growing as we go. So we gotta think ahead. The city start planning how we're gonna address the hangar need and go there. The hangar costs are well within line of what it is. Every contract that you guys have the cities where it sits where they can't go up over 5%. So you're not walking into a deal where they say, okay, well, today your hangar rent's going to be $500. That's not the way that the city operates. They like to be full, okay, and know what they got coming in every month. So we've been very fortunate to have a city council, friendly city council. It's airport friendly for doing that. So that's kind of where we're thinking down the road about how the next set of hangars will go. And it'll address the airport.
So the makeover that you're talking about on the existing hangars, we're turning them from 6 units to 8 units?
And hopefully 10. Bob's did some work.
That must be some fancy work.
We don't have to lengthen the building up to 200 people, 50, that's 15.
Okay.
It's very doable. We just need to work our numbers together carefully.
We will have to work on that carefully because the first unit they're gonna knock down is probably the one I'm in.
Actually, that's the one that's least occupied.
Moving along.
Anyway, that's kind of our thoughts, and we don't know, there's nothing in stone. We've got to be able to cut costs to get this done with trying to get materials and everything else, but we still have that huge need to get that done. So that's kind of where we're at here.
Okay, if no more questions on that, we'll move on to the next one. Talking about the present light condition. Once again, clean up from the one that everybody, you shaking your head, I see it coming. We're working on it, that's all I can say, we're working on it.
Yeah, the current lighting situation, is in a mess, to say the least. we've been working on this for well over a year. Part of the problem comes from a statement made by TxDOT over a year ago that they didn't think that the city should spend any money on the existence of lighting system, and something that was $30,000. So when they were about to get a new project, of course, I cringed when they said that, but I can't finish it. So, not knowing this project's a year behind, okay? Not knowing that the project was going to come in $1.5 million over budget. So now we've got a project that's $1.5 million over budget that somebody's got to figure out how to fix this. Okay? I know that our TxDOT representative, his name, he's awesome. Tell you what he did for the city. He took a $2.5 million project, got it down to a 1% match from the city. And otherwise, we were really going to the city couldn't come up with that kind of matching cost. Typically, it's 10%. So we did get that. Most things, I probably fly more than I can anybody else. And I have 3 airplanes. It's been a burden on me. I had to curtail a lot of my flying that I needed to do. You don't know that I fly cancer patients all the time. And I had to turn in a lot of trips while people were So we have made numerous efforts. We spent in excess of somewhere near $28,000 to $30,000 the city is on running, trying to find the problems. And it's been challenging at the least. We switched electricians here a couple of weeks ago. They looked at it and they said, "Put out, I'm never qualified to do this." So there's a lighting company that we use in San Antonio that when we had to redo all of the lighting controls and the box when the lights went on the floor, the city spent some, I think, close to $40 million getting all that done about 5 or 6 years ago. So we knew we were getting the new lighting. They don't want to touch it. Okay? The reason they don't want to touch it is our plan is to do every other light. Everybody knows that. There's no secrets. Every other light, just so we can, the locals could get in and out of there. And their liability insurance won't let them do that. So I've asked them to, what would they charge us if they just send us someone to just evaluate? What, if you can locate the problem, don't fix it, but what would you charge us to come and just evaluate and find the problem? And then we can, on our end, try to figure out some way to get past that. So that's where we are on the existing city. We put new lights down, we're also sure everything's going to be wonderful. So Stacy and I had multiple phone calls and multiple meetings with trying to get it resolved and haven't been successful in making that happen. So it's not like we're doing nothing, we're trying. But sometimes start yourself. Yeah. So we're still working on it, we're not gonna quit. We're still gonna try to get the problem resolved. Thank goodness we're past winter time now and it's getting dark. That's going to help. That's going to help us. The city apologizes. It's not that they're just not doing enough. Go ahead.
Anybody have any comments?
So where does it stand now, Clay, that KSA has put together a plan and proposed it to TxDOT Aviation for funding?
Okay, so
Is that-
yes, we passed out. Well, KSA doesn't have anything to do with the repair. KSA has only to do with the new construction process.
Okay.
And I put together
Well, the way I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the system, I've been at this airport since 1983. I fly at it here weekly, according to my logbook. And the system is so old that people don't want to work on it for liability reasons. And so when Al Vien was out here, I remember he and I going out to that control unit with wasp spray, trying to open it up to go in there to see what was wrong with that circuit board in it. This is a high voltage system, because you probably have, I don't know, at least 8 miles of wire in the ground. And so the bulbs operate at low voltage, but the system is a high voltage system, and nobody wants to touch that controller or the damaged wiring that's there. And I'm assuming after going through as many folks as we did to try to get it repaired or evaluated, it is because the liability involved in doing it. So moving forward, I think the best plan of action is to go with KSA's idea to go ahead and get LED lighting right and do it the right way.
And that is the plan.
Yeah.
Everything will be done in concert.
Just to be for clarity, that is the plan we're trying to get with these guys, so that we can obtain funding and do it right and put in the type of lighting that we can all get in, on that CAT 300 stuff.
Yeah, I saw our AOPA rep, Wally Mulhern, sneak in late, and I would like, if the board would do that, let him hear what AOPA is saying about the airport. If you don't mind, why don't you give us about that?
I'm the Cleveland representative to the airport network. So, there's nothing from AOPA's side.
You're just our representative from there,
Yeah, it's
to AOPA.
right. So every small airport has a representative. I'm Cleveland's representative.
Okay, so if somebody needs something from you about questions or anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's called the Airport Support Network, is what it's called.
Okay, so if you need something from them, AOPA, we'll support that. Thank you, Bob.
Okay. No further questions, we'll go on to the next item. And that's, item number 6, consideration of possible action.
I want to back up, but I didn't do this.
May get the dates on that.
Yeah, so I asked, let's go to the new lighting schedule, okay? I asked Craig with KSA to send me just a brief email about where we are in the process, so everybody's got some timelines in their mind. And so you can kind of see how we're thinking on our end about how we're gonna address some of the problems that we're all gonna be dealing with, okay? So what I did was, if you look at items 1 through 6, those are all of Craig's statements, okay? Just below that, instead of us all trying to figure out what is 2 weeks, and it's April 19th to 25th, what I did was I went in and I put in the dates of about what you think can happen. If the advertising for bids are going to be from April 11th through June 6th, which runs about a month, 4-week period, okay? TxDOT will be reaching out, and they've already done that in our last meeting about where all the bid openings are going to happen here at City Hall. Sometime the week of April the 19th, the second advertisement for bid, and they'll be holding a pre-bid conference for all the construction guys at the airport. And then they'll have a public bid opening here. TxDOT has 60 days to prepare the contract for the lowest bidder for all parties. However, our TxDOT representative has said that they will, since this project is so far behind, that they will do their best to get this out faster than that 60-day period. This could be as late as August, before they get that done. So It looks like everybody's flying over the summertime. We were concerned about that. It's probably pretty well intact based on the schedule that you're giving us now. Item 6 was that we'll have weekly pre-construction meetings at the airport and the FBO, and we will have a schedule. The FBO will not be in charge of the runways, nor will the city, the general contractor, for safety reasons. They'll be issuing all the notice. So we want everybody to have a heads up. So every week, we compile it. Your name is not, if you did not get an email about this meeting, if you would please make sure you get the drawing, make sure the right email address is there. And that way, every week, we're going to send out updates that the construction schedule says that there's going to be interruptions to traffic on XYZ days, whatever. We don't know what that is yet, if it's in the schedule. Okay? So that way, it gives everybody a heads up. If you've got a vacation, you can move the airplane, you can do this, and everybody knows plenty of time in advance. That it doesn't just come up and pop up the day before or something. Hey, the airport's closed. We're going to work it from the schedule. I can assure you that I fly a lot. You all know I do. So I'm going to be flying, so I'm going to be having trips, and I'm going to be hitting it too. So everybody's going to know what we, anybody that doesn't have their email address correct at this point. We've been very proactive in trying to get this done so we can keep everybody informed. So that's kind of where we're at. Everybody got one of these? So you can kind of start projecting and kind of seeing, so it's kind of like, it's not like, okay, well, the baby's coming, we just don't know who it is.
I was just online today and I saw a company, and I'll give it to you later, that was south of San Antonio. They're called F&W Electrical, that all they do is airport lighting systems and approaches. Have you ever talked to them?
I have. That's one of the companies that we're trying to get to come.
Because I asked them today, and they hadn't heard of Cleveland or any issue with the airport. And just talking with them, they're going to be at College Station next week. And he said if when they're done with that, they could be over here.
Do you have a contact?
His name is Mike.
Okay, can you get?
And after the meeting, I'll give you the
Perfect.
email, because they said they could send 2 guys over in a truck and clamping stuff.
Yeah.
And they said single runways, they could probably get it up and going pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it's worth a phone call.
Yeah, when I talked to them at the main office, there was a problem with somebody doing half, and they're like that. So, but if they'll just find a problem,
Yeah,
we
they-
can get it fixed.
Yeah, so I'll give it to you after the meeting so you can have their number.
Thank you. Andy's one of the new tenants in one of the new building too, and he's been a pleasure to work with.
So if any of our board members have any comments, should they, lighting,
Godspeed.
sir?
That's my comment. Godspeed.
Absolutely.
Yom Tahoe.
Anybody on this side of here, need to make a comment, Kelly?
We just hope we can get that done, because we have been working on it a long, long time, and it needs to happen. For sure. And I'm sorry that it hasn't been forward, but we're doing all we can
Yeah,
do.
that's next.
It has certainly been a real challenge to work on
It
these
has.
lights. And Kevin, they work very hard on the airport board, trying to find the problem, get the problem fixed as quickly as we can. We're all working on a system that's 35 years old, and it's an antique, it really is. And it's a high voltage system, and be very, very careful that it can't get burned. Anyway, we all are grateful that we have the support from the city council, the city. Without that support, we wouldn't be where we are today. We have a wonderful facility out there, and it's second to none in the state of Texas, and we should be all know that. So we want to thank you all for coming and supporting our airport, and anything else that we can do. Thank you. Anybody else?
No, we got a new sign coming shortly, right? So we're modernizing, it's gonna be a beautiful sign, big sign, it's really nice. It's gonna make it easier for us. Hopefully in 4 years, or a year.
That'd be great. Nothing else. We should already get that.
Yes, sir.
Is there any way to get something on the agenda about revisiting getting a courtesy car put back out there?
Well, that's the question we're gonna have to address with the city manager. I was gonna do that, but there was I tried to tackle one tree at a time. We do need one, we get calls regularly.
We should be able to make that happen.
Well, thank you for your comment. And first of all, where did the first one go? We had one.
The new city manager.
Here's the key, we need the keys.
It's a doc.
Robert Reynolds County Solid.
With an auction block.
On behalf of the entire community, we thank you and welcome to Cleveland. I appreciate it.
It does help. I know when I fly,
Hers.
if they don't have a courtesy car somewhere. Okay, so cities losing some business, loses hamburgers, whatever.
Fuel sales.
Bill says, yeah.
But we don't have the chief of police's car to sleep aside on.
That's right.
There's one line up there, it's got about number 6, consideration of possible action on the contract extension for the FPO. We have to comment on that and cut that extension.
Just to bring everybody up to speed, what is the original anniversary of the contract and then how long would it extend for? Is it a 5-year term? Does that sound right, Norm?
It is 5 years.
5 years, okay.
It's up in December.
Yeah, December 31st is the drop dead date on it.
We need a motion to extend it. Is that what you want to do? I'll make a motion to extend the, FBO's contract for 5 years.
I'd like that before for a moment, if I may, before you accept that. Then we're.
Did you sign a public comment? You signed it in a public comment?
No, sir, I did not, I was helping in an accident, I'm sorry.
You probably have to sign it for the next council meeting, or the next meeting. There's a procedure we must follow.
I understand.
But we'd like to move forward with this motion to second.
We have a motion.
Do we have one?
We have a motion.
I'll second.
Carolyn first, Ronnie second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 100%. For the extension of that deal.
Let me make a couple comments about the FBO. Where we were when I came here, where we are today, and where we hopefully to go. When we took over some close to 10 years ago, when Al retired, there were 30 hangars out there. City was generating somewhere around $9,000 a month off of that. I think our pay at that time was, $1,500, $1,600 a month. We were probably selling 4,000 gallons of gas every 6 months. So there wasn't much going on. Through the city council, we worked through a contract that was taking a long time to get back up to date to where we need, when the airport grows, the FBO grows. So you don't have to renegotiate every time to do that. Today, instead of having 30 hangars, we've got 84. The city's getting some, let's see, city's getting probably 24 to 26K a month off of those. And I will say this, that the city is taking money and pay for the existing hangars and they're investing now for a long-term cash cap. So they're taking the money off hangars and not just putting it out there. So they're reinvesting it in here. And you can see this by the number of hangars that they built over the last 9 years. The last 10 units we talked about a while ago have been a very positive thing for the city. We, want to stay another 5 years if the city council wants us to do. If they don't, we're okay with it anyway. We've been very successful in running the FBO. We're not going to make everybody happy. We can't. With 80 people and 80 hangars and we're close to 90-something airplanes, some of them multiple airplanes. So, but we do the best we can, and, we appreciate the support from the city council, number one, from the airport board, we appreciate that. We're always gonna be looking out in your best interest, and economically and everything else. So, we appreciate the support, and look forward to moving to another 5 years, and then we'll revisit. I'll be very old by then. See if I want to continue. So anyway, that's it.
Any other comments? No. If that's the case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
You got it.
Motion, second motion, yeah. All those in favor? Meeting is adjourned.